All right, how's everybody doing today?
Doing good. I am
All right,
awesome.
welcome back to another episode of Normalize You. It's still Taylor Takeover Women's History Month, so I'm not letting Jeff talk first anymore. Um, so I know last episode we kind of talked about gender roles in society, relationships, just gender roles in general. And today I kind of want to dive into a different topic that's kind of similar, but takes a different approach to it. Um, we do take inspiration from real life, and I happen to be scrolling through the wonders of TikTok and heard a video, kind of from a guy's perspective, saying why men and women can't be friends, and I mean strictly friends. It's not like y'all turned uh, to a relationship later, not in a long game type of situation, but just your friends your whole life. So I'm gonna start the question off of, should it be normal for men and women to have friendships, like just platonic friendships?
Um, I guess I'll start. I guess the talking portion. I think it is. It's normal. It's a normal thing. Um, because everybody can be friends with anybody. It's just I think the gray area that people don't often pay attention to, and it kind of descends from the last topic where we were saying it's a sign of respect, and it's the sign of just like a conversation, like communication. Because if you didn't have this friend or these friends before we were involved, what's so important about having them now? And if you're willing to have those friends, I feel like it's okay, but your new male friends, they my friends too, dude, because we're not doing that. Like, especially if I've known you and you didn't have these friends before, you know, why are you having these friends now and I don't know about it? Which I know that's not the question, but that's usually what happens. Where it's like I'm okay with having, like, for me, I grew up around all women. So, and I'm talking about friends too. Like the only male friends I have are pretty much on the platform. So I've always been around women and stuff. But whenever I introduce myself to a new person, I let them know that I do have female friends, women friends, however I want to refer to them. That way, it already like removes the negative image on why I have these friends, or it kind of is a catch them off guard, being like, "Hey, why do you have these friends?" Like, no, you're welcome to meet them, especially if you're somebody that's impactful in my life. You're going to meet them anyway. But yeah, so just to go back to circle around, yes, I think it's okay, but it does take a conversation. And don't be mad if somebody tells you no, you shouldn't have these friends, because you gotta understand why they're thinking that. Because it's okay to have them, but just what's making you want new opposite gender friends if we didn't have them before we met? That's more of the question.
I find it's perfectly normal to have opposite sex friends, but you have to keep in mind that, especially like how Jeff was talking about, saying like if you're in a relationship, it can become a problem, especially if they're like new friends. But on the flip side to that, you always have to think that you always have different perspective, especially when it comes from an opposite sex view. Let's say let's say as a woman, Taylor, your man is going through something and you don't know how to approach him about it. A male friend can help you figure out how to navigate with your partner on how to approach the situation. And vice versa. Let's say he had a female friend and you're going through something and he doesn't know how to approach you about it. She can give a female perspective so he can have better understanding.
I mean, real quick for you go, Mike. I think that's still a bit of a gray area, and the reason why I still think that's a gray area is because why are you able to confide in somebody else and not your partner? That's why I say it takes a conversation, because what would be the reason what would be the reason you would approach having a new friend and that being the same gender as your partner? Because you gotta understand this is like I don't really have to explain the ending of this expression, but I'm sure everyone in this room knows what the expression is. A shoulder to cry on is a, you see what I'm saying? So why can't you confess to me? Why can't you confide to me about what's going on in your head? Like, why do you have to read? I'm not saying you're wrong there, because you're right. That could be impactful, because Like I have women friends that were in the family for a long time. So since we've already known each other, it's easy for me to confide in you, just try to get information based on my own personal situation. But like I said, why would I want to find a new person, especially if that new person is filling a role that will have me confide in them? That's dangerous.
Yeah, and I don't think it's necessarily. I don't. I don't think it's necessarily built in a root of like having confidence in the other person. It's more. Let's say the issue is your partner, and maybe y'all are going through a moment where it's like, okay, y'all need some space from each other to be able to come back to it later, but one of you still doesn't have that understanding from their perspective of their gender. While I'm waiting to be able to talk to my partner because we're not on quote unquote speaking terms at the moment, I can not necessarily confide, but seek better understanding from somebody else so I actually can approach my partner with a better understanding than I would have if I just let that energy and that time slide. So it's not necessarily having confidence, but more so just finding a better understanding when you're not able to confide in that person, maybe due to timing of the situation. So it's not necessarily saying, oh, well, I can't talk to you because I don't know how, but maybe there's just a lot of tension in the situation.
Yeah,
But
I agree.
but that also comes with comfortability of your partner knowing that, hey, I have this friend of the opposite sex. So if it's like somebody they don't know at all, yeah, that's definitely a red flag. But if it's somebody that they know they're okay with, it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like I don't necessarily disagree with what you're saying. I'm not gonna say I fully agree, but I agree. But the reason why I'm saying that it's once again, this is why if you go back a couple episodes, you'll see exactly why I said what I said. I'm not saying um that there aren't benefits from these things. I'm not saying that there's always a bad spot in it, but I try to focus more on the bad spot because the bad affects more than what the good would affect. So I tend to get people to like open up their minds on what the worst case scenario could be. That way you can be prepared for it. Not nervous, not paranoid and ruin anything, but you can be prepared for it because you gotta understand this too. A lot of men are opportunists where they're waiting for something to happen bad. They're waiting for y'all to fall apart. They're waiting for this. So if you whenever you're having a break, because you're on a break with your partner because y'all having some type of discrepancy, I don't think your partner would want you to run to that gender that's the same as them. That's could have possibly been plotting our relationship from the jump to be a confidant. That's what I'm saying. It's like that's the gray area. Whereas like I don't see that it's an issue because like you said, that's a friend that you've known forever, then that's different. But your friends, and it goes for anybody, it's not a woman conversation, it's not a male conversation. My friends, if they're the opposite gender of me, they're gonna know who I'm involved with, and vice versa. So if you have a friend, why don't I know who they are? Because I would hate for that person to come around all the time and I'm not around. Because like I said, a lot of men are opportunists. A lot of women are opportunists. They just want to see out. Because if they, mind you, I understand this too, real quick. I don't want to be long winded, but these are things that really people really got to think about. If you're being the best person you can be, and you're confiding into a person, and they're seeing all these good qualities in you, what makes you think you're not an option to them now? That's why I say you got to be careful.
Yeah, there definitely has to be that line of understanding and respect, but not just between you and your partner. There has to be a line of understanding and respect between you and that friend of the opposite gender as well.
Correct.
They have to understand, like, yo, I'm with this person. If you trying to cross that line, trying to take shots and opportunities, this friendship isn't going to work, and that has to be understood.
So I think we kind of have gone into, which is great, segue into how setting those boundaries in friendships between men and women. Like, obviously, we're saying like we're not saying that friendships are necessarily wrong, but there should be some boundaries in place for you, Darion, and for you, Mike and Jeff. Like, Mike, I'll let you take a stab at this one first because you haven't got a chance to talk yet. But like, if you know your partner has a friend of the opposite sex, what boundaries would you want her to put in place with that friendship? Or what boundaries would you put in place with your female friend?
Respectfully, for me personally, I believe that every relationship should start off platonic in a sense, where just like you can go to your favorite restaurant and know for a fact that because this worker is there, you know you're going to get great customer service. It's going to be a timely fashion. It's going to be what you want in that relationship between you and this business establishment. So when it comes to relationships, it's like I feel like the person, man or woman, they should set their own boundaries between each relationship, even if they have a partner or not. You should set that boundaries between every relationship because every every relationship doesn't need the same information from one another. You see what I'm saying? So it's like if all of us are platonic, we simply enjoy each other's company, the intimacy that we get between our friendships from being on this panel is 100% platonic. But the way society looks at relationships, it's like they say relationship is majority used as partner, like boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife. It's like it's always some type of connection where the intimacy is, is beyond platonic. So in terms of trying to set them boundaries, stop. You gotta basically tell your partner, hey, if you got male friends, leave it strictly platonic. Because if you mad at your partner and your partner's a male, you're gonna go straight to that male friend to get that male's perspective. You're not gonna go to your partner and get that male's perspective.
And that's why I said
So
what I said.
let me ask this follow up then. Like, let's say you get with somebody, like you start a relationship with somebody, and they already have a best friend that's of the opposite sex. How do you feel? Like, are you about to tell her she need to cut that friendship? You
No.
about to say, like,
Nope.
you get what I'm saying? Some people
'Cause
do
that-
approach relationships like that.
That's an
and what the first
insecurity.
thing they say, well, was no male friends. I don't care how long you've known them.
Hold on, Mike. Let me have this. Can I have this for a second?
No, I was about to say because that goes back to what Jeff said from the last episode. That's that insecurities that Jeff bring up. That's a subtle insecurity where if I get with a partner and her best friend is a male, I'm not about to say, hey, you can't be best friends with this person that was here before me. That's a whole nother relationship.
The friendship does change, though. To say that the
It-
friendship
it-
don't change, it changed, right?
Because
Going over spending
maturity.
at his house
Oh,
every
sorry about
weekend. No, you're right. Going over spending at house over every weekend, that ain't about to happen no more. It's not because okay. So before I get into that, because I want people to think I'm trying to be bossy. That's not what I'm doing. What I'm saying is it takes a conversation, and you as a partner. First of all, the things that we're having a discussion about now, you shouldn't want to do it anyway, because at the end of the day, it's still up to your partners to decide if they want to maintain that friendship or not. If they cut them off, that's up to them. If they decide to keep being friends with them, that's up to them. But if they find out that you're uncomfortable with it, then that still makes sense. Like where you still have like that partner still is the one that makes the ultimate decision. But regardless of how you look at it, the relationship does change because you gotta understand this. Like I tell you all the time, you're gonna have issues in a relationship due to the fact that you both were individuals for however many years y'all were before y'all met each other. So you got to understand how many X amount of years this person's been around on this planet against the X amount of years your partner's been around on this planet. So there are gonna be some things you're not gonna have an understanding about. But if your partner really cares about you, they'd be willing to understand. Because for me, if somebody told me, hey, you got to cut off all your women friends in order to be with me, I would have an issue with that because my women friends have legitimately, if they're around this long, they've legitimately been a part of my life for a reason. But that's not to say that I won't do everything in my power to try to get them to know each other and be on good terms. So that way it won't be much of an issue. I don't care if every single time I see my woman friend, now my partner has to be with me. That's a sacrifice I'm willing to make if I can still maintain a friendship with my friend. You see what I'm saying? It's like people, once again, back in that last episode, we talked about how people think that because they submit, they give up everything. That's not what submission means. Submission means I'm able to step back and play second fiddle to when you need me to. But whenever you need me to step up, I got you. So the relationship does change though. That's something we do need to know. We do need to have people know. It doesn't, you don't have to stop being friends with your friend if that's how your relationship is. Don't go out here just being a jerk thinking, oh, I'm gonna do what I want because you're gonna be single tomorrow. The whole point is just be mindful of how people feel and be willing to have that conversation because like I said, that spending the night, the going out 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, the calling your friend all kinds of hours of the night while I'm in bed asleep, that's, for me personally, I can't have that. Because at the end of the day, that's encroaching on my personal time with you. But other than that,
let's ask this in reverse way. So let's say you guys have a friend of the opposite sex in your life and you start dating somebody and your partner is like, I don't feel comfortable with this person. How are you going to respond?
I've been in a relationship before where the female had majority male friends, barely had any female friends, right? I had very few female friends, but they were present. I was told that I had to cut all of them off while she remained having her male friends. Well, needless to say, I'm no longer with that female, but that rubbed me the wrong way. And I was like, if you're going to give the complaint to me that, oh, well, they're like brothers to you and all this other blah, blah, I should be able to keep my female friends. They help me see perspectives in which I don't always understand from a male perspective. Like I remember one time me and this woman really got into it. And this is why I actually gave the example I did earlier. Like we really got into it. And I really felt like I was in the right. And I do think I was. I don't remember what it was about. That's in the past, don't even matter no more. If I remember correctly, I was right. But the way I handled it was wrong. So when I went to this other female friend, she told me, like, yeah, you were wrong. Funny thing is, when I came back to my partner at the time, I told her that, yeah, I was talking to such and such, and they were saying this, that, and the third. You know what? You were absolutely right. Instead of her hearing the fact that my female friend took her side, all she heard was, I went to a female friend. And it was like World War V. Not three, not four, World War V. Just because I said I went to talk to a female friend. And I was just trying to get a better understanding because this female, she had a very bad habit of when she was upset, she didn't talk at all. Like not even I don't want to talk about it right now. We can come back to it later. It's just I'm mad at you. I'm shutting down. I'm not communicating at all. She left me no room to speak to her. I had no one to speak to about it because I'm young. I didn't understand the female perspective on the situation. I had to talk to somebody. I wasn't about to just sit there and be clueless and look stupid. But instead of understanding that, hey, I wanted to talk to you about it, like as my woman, I consider you my best friend first and foremost, but you weren't available for me to understand the situation. I had to go to somebody else. It wasn't like, oh, I'm just trying to go run to another female. No, I just needed understanding. But all she heard was there was another female.
So let me ask this follow up because I know, we still in Women's History Month, and I know a lot of women are like, but he went to another woman to talk about our situation, our life. I can hear it in my head right now. But I'm gonna ask this follow up because I think this is something that comes up. Do you believe your partner when they're telling you that your friend of the opposite sex is actually plotting on you, and that's why they don't want them around? Because that also, I think, causes a lot of concern because, let me get this out, Jeff, just so we all understand the question, because is that insecurity or is that just knowing how your gender operates?
Hold on, Mike. Hold on. Y'all be saying this? No. I'm gonna let him talk, but that's what I'm saying. Well, my thing is, it was a response. It was a response to what Darren was saying, and I was gonna make it quick.
I know, I got you.
That's why I was really gonna mute my mic and let Mike go in, but like that's kind of what I was saying a minute ago, where I was saying that it's a like I said, it's a conversation because if for me, it's like I don't like being around anybody anyway, like majority of the time. So if somebody tells me I got to cut somebody off, I mean, I'd cut somebody off depending on the friendship, but at the same time, it's like I wouldn't. But you also got to understand this too. It's like once you get in a relationship with somebody, like in my opinion, that transcends like a certain level of friendship because now we're doing different things. Like, yeah, I got a friend who, yeah, we go out to eat, we go out here, we go out here, we go out here. Let's use me and Darren for example. We can do everything. Well, first of all, we're not into the same, sexual preferences in the sense of like our own gender, right? So everything we do is strictly just two men hanging out, having a good time while being attracted to women. So everything that I do with Darion is just an act of me doing stuff with my homie with no pleasure involved due to the fact that we are literally two men that are attracted to women. So that's basketball, that's football, that's any sports, that's any arcade, that's bowling, that's going to the museums, reading, watching this, going to the beach, walking in the street, talking to people. But when it comes to that, you can have my baby. We can start a family together. Like Darion can't do that for me. So, but I could do all of those things I mentioned with Darion with my partner, except for the fact that I can start a family. So at the end of the day, it still transcends my friendship. You know what I'm saying? So, and people don't like to think about it like that. Well, I've been friends with you for 27 years. Yeah, but it's the person I'm inviting to my house. So it's a bit different. So but to answer your question, Taylor, yes, it is a problem when women or men don't listen to their partner saying that I can see, because I'm a guy. As nonchalant as I am, as laid back as I am, as much as I like to sit in the corner, I know when a guy plotting because I know what I'm plotting. So even if I may not know, I may not know the new signs, but I can guarantee you I can recognize the signs in which I do. So I come to you and tell you, hey, that dude plotting on you. I need you to stop being friends with him because y'all been friends forever. But I need you to lay down the foundation. I need you to draw a line in the sand. I need you to pick up that stick and draw that line in that sand. I need to see you do it. Because a lot of problems people don't understand. It's like, and a lot of women, and I'm gonna speak for men against women type thing because it is very important. Y'all response to when things get shaky is a reason why a lot of y'all be in shaky situations. If somebody says something to y'all and you know they flirting, if you don't shoot them down, you flirting back. So, because I know a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't say anything back. Yeah, but you didn't say no. So, yeah, that's why it's very important because I have to know this person too. Otherwise, it can't happen. And it's not me being controlling. It's just like I'm inviting you to my household. Like I gotta know what's going on, and vice versa. You gotta know what's going on too. So if you have an issue with, if I'm with a woman friend and she's out here being overly touchy, overly friendly, overly this, crying about every single thing, telling me all her secrets, and my partner catch wind of that and be like, yeah, y'all can't be friends no more. I can't even be mad. I mean, I'm surprised it took you so long to even say that. So, yeah.
Yeah, like if I go to my woman now and I'm like, look, dude right there, he trying to get with you. He plotting. He plotting on our situation. He plotting on our downfall. I expect you to listen. You don't gotta take heed, but I do expect you to listen. Now, if I actively see it, I ain't gonna hold you. I'm gonna go to homie myself. But if I know it's happening, but I can't see it myself, I'm gonna be like, look, draw that line. Put your boy in check. Because just like I need you to respect the sanctity of our relationship, I need you to respect the sanctity of our relationship by having your male friends respect the sanctity of our relationship. And if you can't draw that line, well then I'm gonna have to draw the line on you and go my separate way. Like you can't just ask your partner like, "Hey, partner, I need you to respect our relationship." Okay, cool. They respect it. But does your friends respect? Do your male friends respect our relationship? Because if they don't, and you're keeping them around, then you're bilaterally disrespecting our relationship just by having them around. I understand having somebody in your life that you cool with, that you trust, Yeah, you can trust him to be your friend, but can you trust him to be your friend when you're in a relationship? That's the whole question. And if the answer is no, well, then they got to go.
Facts.
Mike, you go jump in on this.
Absolutely. So I guess the I'm gonna go from 1 through 4 of topics and explain it to y'all. So leading with my responses, 1 would be from Taylor, 2 would be Darion, and 4 will me sum up agreeing and disagreeing with. Hold on, man. And then so the first thing we should figure out the why a person is insecure about what happened, right? So insecurity is most likely triggered, like when it comes to partnerships, it's most likely triggered by your partner showing something that you didn't check from your past relationship. So that's where I believe that insecurities come in. So if you don't tell your partner what triggered, why the animosity started or started to crumble the foundation of the partnership, then it's the insecurity. If the insecurity is unclear, then those emotions were unchecked before moving into this new partnership. And I'm not saying men don't do this, but women more so will jump ship simply because this other person makes them feel better emotionally, right? And that was 1 and 2. So with 4, men and women should acknowledge when the partner went silent on this topic. They should acknowledge, cover your mouth. They should acknowledge why this person was upset. I get that. And if it's unclear, then they should sit back and observe their partner. Where just like a man will have a woman friend, a woman partner, and she checks him on something about another female friend. Like say if a man is out in public and he looks at another woman and she'll go, "Why you checking her out?" On the opposite end, I've literally seen this never be flipped the other way. A man will ask a woman, "Why you checking him out?" And every woman has responded with, "Oh, I'm just people watching." So it's like that could be a unchecked emotion of a man where it's like, why she checking him out like I'm not here? Or why he checking her out like I'm not here? So if you don't acknowledge just why this person is insecure about something, it's just in that partnership. Don't string that person along because you're emotionally imbalanced and you want this person to feel how you feel to get them to understand. That's going to ruin every relationship around that and your next partnership and or friendship that can be platonic.
Can I ask you a question, Mike, real quick? I actually do want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Like, because I do want your input on it. Because I like your take. Whether I agree with you or Darion or Taylor or not, I still like how y'all like get this information out. But so, because you were saying what you're saying, it made me think of something. A lot, and it is true. And I'm gonna say everything is opinionated. So nothing is facts. Everything is opinionated. When it comes down to, like you said about people watching, right? Women, and I can only speak from a male perspective, but men, we try to do the best we can. Not all of us, but the good guys, we do the best we can. And you provide for your partner, you do this, you try to be exciting, you never lose the ability to flirt with your partners, like you always try to bring something new. When you people watch, and it's pointing to about like a guy, and your partner gets jealous, how do you feel about it? Like me thinking that's like an insecurity, like because but it's a how do you feel about me thinking that it's an unwanted necessary insecurity? For example, like you know the guy you got, so if you I'm trying to figure out a better way to say this, because I feel like a lot of times people they reject insecurity and they don't pay attention to the fact that they could be the ones messing up. Because if I go somewhere knowing that how I am with my partner, if somebody else confronts you, I'm not jealous or insecure because I know that when I'm home, I throw it down in the sense of like relationship, finances. I know I tick all boxes. But a lot of times when women, they get in situations where they're like, oh, why are you looking at this person? Why are you looking at that? Like, you got a good man. If you know you got a good man, why do you think other people don't know you got a good man? And if you, I know you bite your knuckle because I know you're probably about to say something. This is the part people don't catch on to. If you think you're doing everything you need to do at home, why does it bother you that anybody else looking at your partner? Because if you're at any moment thinking, oh man, I might lose my partner to this person, I think it's time for you to get home, get that notebook out, and write down what you need to do to fix that. I asked Mike specifically. So hold on.
I'm glad you asked that. So, and this is why I say it. It literally, you got to figure out why this triggers the person. It goes back to, if you do provide everything at home, why do you question it outside?
Right.
It could be from an unchecked insecurity. Like, you can put a whole insecurity to the side, not just an emotion. You can put that entire insecurity to the side. Like, you could be like, oh, I'm vicious at home. They ain't gonna cheat on me out in the world. I'm good at this. They ain't gonna, right? But that could just be an ego securing your insecurity. Because it's been times where I've been in partnerships like, oh yeah, I'm dope. I'm good. I'm respectful. I'm legit doing everything 100% that a faithful person should do. Home, out in the world, financially, whether it's like in any way, shape, form, or fashion to provide for a partner is being done, and it still gets tilted, man or woman, if that partner still goes to be unfaithful, then that was in that person's plan anyway.
No. And I want to add, fam, audience, do not take this the wrong way when I say it. There is absolutely nothing wrong with being a little insecure. But here's the thing. Were you insecure before you entered that relationship? Or is your partner making you feel insecure? That's the question. If you were insecure before you entered that relationship, well then you should have checked that at the door. But if your partner is making you feel insecure, you need to check that with your partner. Now, if you're just being insecure because you're either jealous or you lack confidence either in yourself or just in society, well then maybe you need to take a look at yourself. Are you doing something that you feel isn't up to par to either yours or your partner's standards that's making you feel insecure? Because if that's the case, check yourself. There's nothing wrong with being insecure, but the question is, how do you handle that insecurity, and when and how did it come? Because it's just like with ignorance and intelligence. There's nothing wrong with being ignorant. There's something wrong with remaining ignorant. There's nothing wrong with being insecure, but it's something wrong with remaining insecure. You have to check that, regardless how it came, whether it was before or during. Check it. Because if you're going to remain insecure, all it's going to do is breed conflict in your situation.
Yeah, I always said jealousy was cute in doses, but that's it.
All right. So since Jeff took over and asked the question, I'm gonna go in on behalf of women. Because also it's funny that when you guys all answered my question, you all took the perspective of if you needed your woman to check a man a friendship versus would you check your female friend? I know Jeff answered that somewhat, but Mike and Darion, y'all kind of went past that.
Oh,
it's more on her.
I answered it.
I said you, I gave props. But when you guys are talking about what you just talked about, there's a couple things I have to bring up on behalf of women and bring the women perspective here. One, not saying this is right or wrong, but it is ingrained into what we teach women that men are visual. So if you're not looking right every day, they go look at somebody that is looking right every day. They are visual creatures. So if you don't step up on a regular basis and look as good as you need to, they're going to people watch and look at everybody else that is trying, that is stepping it up. Yeah. I know you want to talk now. I let all y'all stop. And you muted yourself. Even better. But so that's number one. Number two, a lot of men, not saying this is right or wrong, but it is something that men do, as you guys have talked about. Y'all have talked about being the financial provider in a household. And that's how one way you show that you're down for your person. So if we see you looking at everybody else, and then you say, but you know who I am and you know I hold you down, but we see your eyes chasing other people, holding down the money isn't sufficient to what you're chasing after. Because you eventually, the job is a thing that you don't want to do anymore. Y'all, other than Darion, Jeff, you said it 5 times, how you would love to just sit at home and play video games all day. So finances isn't necessarily the full package of knowing that you won't look elsewhere. Because the other thing a lot of men will bring up very quickly is they like the ease of dealing with somebody else because they can just, there's no strings attached, there's no long-term history, they can do what they do and then dip. So at the end of the day, sometimes for a woman, it's not an insecurity based off of we don't know you, it's an insecurity based off of, even y'all have talked about it, in the biology and how you guys, it's ingrained in your genetics that y'all are hunters, y'all are gatherers. So if your eyes are always watching somebody else.
Okay. So I got a perfect answer. No, I got this. And y'all going.
I want to come after you. That's all.
I know y'all going to listen with y'all going to agree with what I'm saying. I know y'all going to agree with what I'm saying. Men can't. First of all, there's 2 things wrong with that. One, we don't only look at finances as our position in the household. It's just the most impactful because that's our expectation. That's what people expect from us. But I would like to say one thing that a lot of women don't understand. As a man, we can't ever lose the ability to hunt. And it has nothing to do with us liking other women. We can't, because you got to understand this. I'm going to ask you this, Taylor. It's more of and it's a quick yes or no question, or not question, but however you want to answer the question, but more of an agree or disagree. Women are more likely to get bored in a relationship before men would.
Disagree.
You don't think women get bored with their male partners before men get bored with their women partners?
I don't.
Okay, let me explain to you why I said that. I said that I think they do. Men would get bored of you and go play basketball. Men would get bored of you and go ride their car until the gas run out. Men are stupid and we're simple. I could literally be in the room for hours and y'all be like, you all right? And I will literally be sitting here looking at this napkin or trying to turn this napkin into a perfect ball. Literally just, but it don't be no entertainment in my head. But exactly, right? I guarantee, Darren, you got one of these sitting around somewhere. I guarantee it. The point I'm making is we're in a position where our boredom doesn't run us away from our families. Usually it's a lot of things that stack on top of each other that causes us to run away. Not listening, being too macho, being disrespectful, not providing, not helping, not assisting. But women will literally ruin a family just because they're bored. And I'm like, all right, so when it comes back down to that thing where you said men, we look at other people and women think this, it goes back to what I said a second ago. What are you doing at home for you to even be insecure about your man looking at other people? Because if anybody knows me, yeah, I might look at somebody else. First of all, I don't look at people. But if I do look at somebody, I guarantee you it ain't got nothing to do. I don't like starting over new people. I do not. I don't. There's too many phases I got to run through. It's like growing your hair back out. I probably won't cut my hair again until I'm fully ready to cut it out, because once I cut it out, you gotta go back to that little bush stage that you can't braid up nowhere, and it's too it's like that's what relationships are like. Relationships are like haircuts. You stuck in something so long you're used to it in a sense of like, but that doesn't mean you can't fancy it up. But people think, oh, I can't fancy it up, so I'm just stuck with what I got. But you don't realize that once you cut it off, there's levels you still have to go back through. Those levels you don't like, those understandings. Now you gotta understand this too, especially when you get old. When you start getting older, now those things that you looked at as standards they no longer exist because now you're at this point, you're desperate. So what do you do to, you start tolerating more things you wouldn't tolerate in the past. Oh, I don't like smokers. Now you get to the point you're like, you know what? Yeah, if you smoke, it's cool. But 10 years ago, you didn't like smokers. But now your time running out, so you like smokers now, right? See what I'm saying? So it's all about how you entertain your partner. Then we have to always entertain, especially if you're the financial guardian of the household. We always have to find a way to entertain. We don't leave because we're bored. Because a man, and I hate to say it like this, because women swear men be cheating. Not all men cheat, and not the men that you think are cheating aren't cheating. I'm not giving an excuse to cheating, but they're not cheating for the reasons you think they're cheating if they are cheating. A lot of times people just need that, you know, that touch. Because a lot of men, we're in a position where it's like we're not in jobs where we can sit back and take the benefit of somebody touching us, holding our hand, or walking us through something. It's like you work in a building where you work in a dangerous environment. Once you fail a safety standard, you can get fired. But in a woman's position, you can work somewhere and you can get multiple chances, all just because of the fact you're a woman. So it's like a lot of times we just want the things we ask for. And you as a woman, if you ever feel like you walking around somewhere, you thinking, man, what my partner doing? Man, he probably doing this, he probably doing that. No, you're probably doing something. Not taking all the attention off the men. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, if you feel like you're doing everything right and you're dealing with a partner who is good, this goes for any gender, and you feel like you're dealing with a partner that's good, like, man, my partner's amazing. But for some reason, I just can't get them to touch me anymore. For some reason, I can't get them to look at me anymore. Don't just inner monologue. Ask them why. Because I guarantee you they will let you know why. I'm not saying they might let you know immediately, but through either secondhand conversation or through when you constantly picking at them, I guarantee they'll tell you that. Because a lot of people just want to have somebody that they can be like, all right, cool, I can go home, I can do this, I can do that. But something slips. And once again, it comes with comfort. That's why I said, men, we do get complacent when it comes to the things we got, because we're like, man, look, we don't put so much energy into doing everything we can do to get to this point. At this point, I don't care anymore. That's why we can get entertained with stuff like this, because our brain is just trying to find something new to focus on. But you as a woman, you see your best friend down the street getting $1 million house. You see your other friend getting a Ferrari. You see your other friend getting this. You think I know what Mike be buying? You think I know what Darion will be buying? What Darion and Mike get from their partners don't make me. I'm not gonna go to my girl and be like, hey, why didn't you buy this for me? No. But y'all women will do that. Y'all will judge, y'all will compare y'all friendships to other people's friendships. That's why y'all will leave when y'all get bored, because you'll see that your friend's getting something that you're not getting. As a man, we don't do that. We're like, all right, cool. Like, you go to the store and buy me a steak and cheese. That's just as equivalent as buying me a shirt. It doesn't matter. But I don't compare what I get to my partner's friendships, and that's a problem, because women don't keep learning how to hunt. A lot of y'all pretty women don't know how to hunt anyway. So y'all don't have the right to tell somebody how to entertain somebody or how to be bored. I don't even know what to do. The amount of times people call my phone and like, what's up? Oh, nothing. What do you want? Nothing. And I got to sit on the phone, but let me call you and say nothing. You can be like, all right, well, I got something to do. And I'm like, that's the problem. Y'all don't ever have to hunt. So y'all don't know what it's like to deal, to like not necessarily deal with the insecurity, but in the sense, I guess you could say y'all don't know how to deal with the insecurity. It's not to say that y'all can't have them, but when y'all get them, how do you deal with them? As men, we deal with that adversity all the time. So we know how to deal with that. We know how to deal with it.
And Taylor, what you said about men are visual creatures, on that, you are absolutely right. But see, here's the thing. Being a man is like going to the museum. If I got art at home posted up on my wall, if I go to the museum, I just want to look. And there's nothing wrong with looking. I'm not trying to take none of it home. I'm not trying to be like, hey, I got $1 million for that piece of artwork right there on the wall. Let me take it home. No. Now, you're more than welcome to come to the museum with me if, that's
We
cool.
can't hear you.
You hear me now? Now, you're more than welcome to come to the museum with me if that's cool with you. If not, I may go by myself or I may not go at all. Don't be upset with me if I go. Hell, I may be trying to find inspiration for the artwork I have at home. And if that's a problem, let me know, and I will curtail how I approach that. But don't get mad because I may look like they say. Look like our parents told us when we went in the store. Look but don't touch. Look with your eyes, not your hands. My hands are in my pockets. My eyes are on my face. I am a very observant person. Even though I'd be oblivious half the time in the world, I don't know how. I still somehow remain hyper vigilant and observant. I'm always watching my surroundings no matter who or what is around me. So even if I just happen to catch something that glances my path, I just happen to see it in passing. I may not necessarily be trying to look intentionally. And even if I am, oh, that looks nice. Oh, she looks nice. I may see something that's nice on another woman. Like, I may not want the woman, but it looks nice. Like, hey, babe, would you like that? Do you think that would look good on you? I think it would. It may be a suggestion. Like, I may think, hey, I would love to see you do that, or love to see you look like that. Now, if that's a problem, let me know. I'm not outright saying like, oh, hey, babe, I want her. I'm going to go get her. No, not the case. Because if I wanted to, trust me, I would, whether I'm in your face or not. But that's not me. But like I said, if you're more than welcome to come to the museum with me, we can both look. And if we want to touch, we can both touch. That's on us. But if that's not the case, ain't nothing wrong with looking. But at the same time, I'm only going to look as far as it still remains respectful. I'm not going to disrespect you by saying, hey, look, I touched. No, I'm not touching nothing.
Mike.
Um, so I guess to sum up what everybody said, it goes back to the question, define cheating, right? So when you're in a
Uh-oh.
No, go
Y'all won't
ahead.
let Mike talk for nothing today.
Go ahead. I just have something to say about that. Go ahead and finish, Mike. I just have something to say about that.
so it says define cheating, right? And and I agree with, I'm gonna say a good 85% of what Darion just said when it came to the whole museum perspective. I get it. I get the look, don't touch. I get the suggestions, but that other percentage, this is where I come in, right? So it's just like it goes back to what the partner provides, what triggers and why these insecurities are triggered. So if you believe your partner is cheating, but you're not losing that financial stability, you're not losing that affection he gives you at home, he or she, you're not losing that public affection, that public display of, oh, they're together and everybody knows that they're together. If you're not losing any of that, define what happens that takes that away. Yes, sir.
So Darian, I know you were about to add on to his point. I just want to throw this in there. Um, from a woman's perspective, with your whole analogy of looking and not touching type of thing, and you might say that looks good. Would you like that? I don't think men realize how damaging comments like that actually can be. And the reason I say that is this. If you're always, well, not always, but if you're on a regular basis, it doesn't have to be every day, but enough of a point that it's something that happens frequently. And you're frequently pointing out, oh, that looks good on somebody else, or that person looks nice. When was the last time you told your partner they look nice?
When's the last time you came in the house to rub your
You
partner's
haven't.
back without them asking? When was the last time you came in the house to cook food without them asking? When was the last time you laid their shoes out without them asking? When's the last time you ran the bathroom without them asking? The problem with a lot of women is y'all ask questions that y'all don't have to have the answer for, knowing that you're going to get mad by the answer. The only reason why women know that men hunt by just looking and not even trying to get with them is because y'all ask. If y'all didn't ask, y'all would never know. That's unspoken rule between men. We see something, Darion might walk by with a girl that we know he's not married to. He's just a girl he know. I might give him he turn around, and it's it. That's it. I would never talk about it again. It's just what it is. And then you being my woman would be like, What was that about? That was a whole hour-long conversation about something that was not necessary. It was just a small thing that happened in passing. I'm giving you a that's what's up. He giving me a appreciate it, bro. And we just move on about it. Am I wrong, fellas?
No,
No.
that was the ending of what I was about to say. That I'm taking the hand floor.
You know that, even though you cut me off. But my point is this: there are men out there that do that to women, but you're also coming home expecting food. Like, you know, if your partner isn't at home cooking or cleaning, like, you're going to start pointing that out. So what men end up doing sometimes in relationships is they lose that sense of chase with the person they have waiting at home because they know that person's already there. You already said when men get complacent. So that does happen. So if we see the effort getting put out into the world, but there's no effort put in at home, there is an insecurity there that has grown from, I see you do this otherwise, but you won't do it with me. Now, we're saying these things, but remember that this episode is not just to say women don't do stuff right.
No, it's a men thing too. That's why I'm trying to get them to talk about like the men's side of it too. Like we're not here to crap on women, believe me, at all. Like I love women, like in the sense of like without them we wouldn't be here. But at the end of the day, this is a question where it's like whenever there's an action, there's an equal or opposite reaction. So we got to understand what's causing it. So I'm gonna ask you a question, Taylor, too. What do you think the difference is between those women that will literally bow down to their man versus the women that always have these insecurities? What do you think the difference is?
Oh, Jeff took my question. Let me shut up.
So are you, from the basis of your question, you're saying the women that bow down don't have these insecurities?
What's the difference in how their day-to-day is?
If you're saying woman bow down, her whole thing is about her man, like nothing else. There's no other consideration. It's all about, is this going to be for the betterment of him?
Well, can I chime in on that one? I think this is just my perspective of what I feel like Jeff's question comes from, because I believe that this is just my belief and opinion, because I've seen it enough, but I know that men go through this as well. A man can provide everything they need for a woman in every which way, and that woman will still find an insecurity about herself or that relationship.
The amount of times I told somebody they were beautiful, and every single day, but that's why I said sometimes I feel like people live in drama, and a lot of times you live in drama. Just to sum all of this up, the importance is your partner. We shouldn't even be debating on what's going on between this and the other, because if you're picking a bad partner, you're always going to run into these problems. But just to get into the nuances of this conversation, we want to get more deeper into it. That's different. Like that's a whole different ball game. But I want to say that first. You pick a better partner. But the point I'm making about that is like what Mike said. It's like we're able to provide and do everything it is we need to do without no ifs, ands, or buts. Because at the end of the day, a man is looking at it like, how can I survive in this world? What do I do to keep grinding? What do I do? And if you're going to be with us, at the end of the day, you're in a sense, quote unquote, riding coattails. Not saying that you are, but at this point, we're pulling you along with us. Like, this is my partner. She's going to benefit from every successful thing I do. But when it comes to a lot of women, it's always like, I'm going to benefit myself, but I'm going to benefit myself. He going to have us too. I'm going to benefit myself. The amount of times I tell somebody they're beautiful every single day, and they agree to it, but the very next day, they're like, well, I feel like I'm ugly today. Why? You didn't even need a house. What happened to you today that didn't happen yesterday? Like, what happened? You just want, either you want the compliment, you keep falling for social media, or something down the line make you feel insecure that person doesn't know. Because of that, if we find out your insecurity is, let's say you got a partner that's anxious, like they got bad anxiety. It's like, okay, cool, my partner's got bad anxiety. Okay, if I knew that, I'm gonna do everything I can to be as cautious about the things I say or do, because I don't want to set that person off. So I would then be more open about how I communicate. That way you can understand it. I'll be more slower to react to stuff. That way you get a chance to adjust to your brain before you decide to speak what you want to say. But if we do that and then we still get slapped upon the head, like figuratively, it's like, what? And then y'all wonder why a lot of guys, like, y'all always say good, like, oh, all the good men are gone. Nah, a lot of y'all, a lot of women, y'all create villains. Like a lot of times men be on like I guarantee you this. You can meet a guy right now that could be in what you consider Section 8 housing. That don't mean he ain't got the money. That don't mean he ain't got the time. That don't even mean he doesn't have the mental fortitude. It could just be as a man, I could everything that's in this room right here that I'm in is perfect for me. I got a game, I got outlets, I got light, I got a window, I can put a mini fridge in here. I can literally talk to y'all. Like my phone is in here. Like there's nothing that I need outside. I can fall asleep in this chair. But you, as a woman, will come in the house and see that and it not fit what you want. So you'll make that man, in your opinion, glow up. Maybe that man didn't want that glow up. But he's doing everything to inspire you, to impress you, so he glows up. And then you get that man stuck in that situation. That's why a lot of men think the way they think. It's like now it's like this, the way this generation's set up, we're so combative with each other because we're more so worried about how this could benefit me. And no one thinks about how this could benefit each other. Because at the end of the day, nothing that I said about running the bath water, cooking the food, cleaning this, none of that is gender neutral. Like it could, I mean, it is gender neutral. It could happen to anybody. Anybody that has the time and the mental fortitude to do it, they do it. But now it's more of a like, okay, I'm comparing it to what the magazine said to me. Y'all do realize that Cosmo magazine back in the day, that ruined a lot of relationships because it made women think a certain way. But you know who wrote that magazine? Women. Women wrote a magazine to tell women how to respond to how men act. That doesn't make sense. You as a woman can't tell a man how to act. And you as a woman can't tell a woman how a man or why the man is acting the way he's acting. That's impossible. So instead of getting the information from the source to find out why this person bugging out, you create something in your head to be like, this has to be the way it is because XYZ told me that, but not your partner. Because as mysterious as I am, hold on, as mysterious as people say I am, one thing people can say about me is, oh, you don't talk a lot. You keep yourself, you don't really you don't make yourself known too much. I'm like, all right, cool, that's true. But whenever y'all ask me a direct question, do I not answer that direct question? So it's no longer a mystery. But instead of people asking that direct question, they just assume something and then jump off and get the information elsewhere. And now you got the wrong information. So now you're basing everything after that question was asked on the wrong information you received. And at the end of the day, that just creates a crumble.
Now, in response to the gestures that Jeff gave earlier that I wanted to respond to, with men, the other man, where he's like, oh, appreciate it. Men will look at that as a compliment. Like, oh, okay, you think my woman is good. She got it going on. She fine. Thanks, brother. Glad you see that. I see it too. Thanks for the compliment. But vice versa, the woman that has the man, she might be ready to rip the throat out the other woman. Like, why are you looking at my man? No, she just gave you a compliment. She might not necessarily even want your man. She's like, oh, he looks good. Just say thank you and move on. You have something good from another woman's perspective. Move on. Now, in response to what Mike said, define cheating. A lot of people will say, oh, well, that man and that woman talked to that person of the opposite sex. Or they liked the picture on Facebook or Instagram or whatever. Or you looked at them. You flirted with them. You cheated on me. Not necessarily. Cheating is anything that goes against the set boundaries and standards of that relationship. If you and your partner are in an open relationship and y'all are open to messing with other people outside of it, it's not cheating. But if y'all have it set to where y'all are strictly monogamous, yeah, that's cheating. But if I'm allowed to go mess with another woman without backlash, don't say, oh, well, you're a cheater. No, I'm not a cheater. It's allowed. I have a hall pass. Or, hey, babe, you can mess around with other dudes if you want. Just let me know. Cool. Now, let's say y'all have that set up just as long as you know who that other person is and you at least met them before or at least know about them and they go mess with them. All right, cool. They in the clear. But then they turn around and go do the same thing with somebody you don't know. As soon as they do it with somebody you don't know and they haven't said anything to it, you are completely oblivious and in the dark about it. Now it's cheating because it goes against the set rules that y'all have in y'all relationship. Cheating isn't just strictly messing with somebody else or interacting with somebody else of the opposite sex outside of your relationship. If it fits within the bounds of the rules of your relationship, it's perfectly fine. But if it doesn't, it's cheating. And a lot of people don't understand that. Men and women.
Um, this has just always been my opinion of the outside looking in on any relationship. Men and women both will literally tell their friends about their partner, about how great their partner is, about what their partner provides, about what they do, this, that, and the third. If you know your friends and some of your friends have never had this, you're making your partner attractive to your friend. And then they turn around and be surprised about why their man or woman cheated because you just painted that pretty picture for this person who was insecure and why they not in relationships, why they get cheated on because their insecurities make them cheat and they feel like I'm going tit for tat. I'm not going petty. I'm not about to build a pretty picture because I know I got a great woman at home. I'm not about to. Yeah, look, yeah. If you know I'm still with her, you know she good. If you know you still with him, you know he's great. You know, like this is going on, right? But some men and women will literally be like, my man do this, my woman do this, my man do this, my woman do this. And their friend over there like, oh, word, I want that. I got to get that. And then they start plotting on their friend partner.
And this is funny. I'm mad Darren went away. Darren, you still there? Or you just disappeared for a second? No, I gotta say this real quick because it's actually like very spitting image of what he just said. So Darren, Darren had when we was in high school, he had was it high school? Yeah, it was high school, early high school. Yeah, he just texted me to say the same thing. He had introduced me to somebody, and me and this person was cool. We were young, so you know. And every single thing I would do, they would go tell their friends. So then later on, somewhere down the line, this person started getting more and more and more insecure because every day she would tell me, "Oh, my friends want you," and I'm mad now. I can't get. Now it's like when I first met her, it was like they used to hang out with like I think it was like 6, 7 girls, and I would go down there and just meet them, just like hang out with all of them at the same time. I never hung out with any of them outside of her being there. It was always a group, but it was always a group there. And I even told her, mind you, because as a man, I know. So I told her before I met her, Mike would even know because he know the person. I told them right to their face, look, I told her right to her face, stop bringing your women friends around because you talk too much about me. And y'all don't hang out with any other males. So I was going to create a conflict at some point. Nah, these are my girls. Okay. So then later, like maybe like a year or so later, they accused me of something, and I was like, they accused me of cheating. I was like, how did I cheat? Oh yeah, because I saw you being real friendly. Oh, so now just a friendly conversation with one of your friends is cheating in your presence because you think that because she's looking at me like I'm a bag of Doritos, you think all of a sudden I'm interested in her back. But you every day. What I was hearing stories about myself from schools I didn't even go to. And I would say every day, stop talking about me. Because as a man, I don't kiss and tell. That's not my thing. I don't care who you are. I don't care what you try to get out of me. I don't care what you barter for it. I'm not giving you information on how I am. Never. Y'all might hit me up one day like, how's your grandparents one day? Even simple things as that, I'd be like, I tell you what they're going through. It's not your business. Because now in days, even if you don't consider it ammunition, that's an insecurity. It's not your business. That's more of my personal family business getting out than I needed to go. So when you don't listen to me until you stop introducing to your friends, stop telling these good stories about me, and then you wonder why 2 minutes later, everybody wants to be knocking on my door. And I'm just like, this is exactly why. But you couldn't fathom that in your head. You're like, oh, I don't know what happened. I'm like, I just told you, stop doing that. Because at the end of the day, like you said, like Mike said, there are people out here that want what you have. They themselves know the qualities that they lack. You think it's gonna stop them? No. You got dudes out here with diseases that still try to go after people. It's just a matter of an opportunity. It's an opportunity. They see an opportunity. They see, oh, you're letting your great partner roam these streets freely without your consent. Let me see what I can do to entice them.
You know,
But
I'm
then
gonna just jump
instead of
in.
knowing you got a good man or a good woman, vice versa, instead of knowing you got this, you fall and feed into that insecurity. Oh, they plotting on my friend. So because they plotting so blatantly in my face, that must be my person plotting back. No! You know what you got in your home. Stop letting society and the world dictate your, like, don't let that persuade you. You know what you got at home.
Sir, in response to that anecdote, I apologize for introducing you to that situation, especially since the reason was kind of halfway petty on my end.
I know what.
I had to hear backlash about you when that situation ended. When I'm like, that's not my friend. That's not my brother. Whatever you're telling me is completely false. I don't know what happened, but I know it's false. Get out of my face. You are a good friend, but you're not about to yell at me and curse at me about what y'all went through when it has nothing to do with me. All I did was say, hey, here's this person. Hey, here's that person. Maybe you should mingle. And apparently y'all took a tingle. I can't control what happens after that.
It was just funny because I was getting bombarded with nonsense. Like, because actually Mike was around that time too, where, oh, you messing with my friend, you messing with my friend. Your friend is single. Your friend is single, and every day she comes to you and confides to you about the bad man she just dealt with. Why do you think she's not going to try to go after your good guy? And I told you to your face, you have to cut her off. Not cut her off, but you have to cut our communication off. Me and her can't be around each other because she's going to try to talk to me. I don't want her. I'm happy where I'm at. But you wouldn't listen to me telling you that this friend isn't right for you when it comes to being around anybody that you like. Because mind you, after me, it kept happening.
And I saw it firsthand. I wasn't cool with her. Mike,
I was just around for the stories.
So I'm gonna jump in because y'all hilarious, but also, again, this is not to bash women and just say all the things that women do wrong, because as many things as we're sharing that women don't understand about where a man's perspective is coming from, it's the reverse as well. So, like, a couple of things I would go comment on is like, ladies, let's be real with each other. We know our friends. We know which one of our friends is a hoe. We know which one of our friends is grimy. We know which one of our friends is willing to sleep with somebody, whether they were in a relationship or not. You know your friends. And it's not just saying you know your friends in terms of you know what they've done in the past. You know what they're doing currently. You know what they're willing to do tomorrow. So while women have, been growing up, we've always been told, don't tell people the bad that goes on in your relationship, because then your parents won't want to be around the person. They're not going to get invited to family cookouts, or your friends are always going to be pissed with them. So I think because that got so ingrained into us, some women start oversharing about the good because we got told so much that you can't share the bad. So with that in mind, if you know your friend is one of them people that's just moving around through the world with no loyalties, maybe don't share a bunch of stuff with your friend about your current relationship, especially if it's going good. Because how much do you trust your friend with your partner? Because sometimes we have to realize too, it's not just about do we trust our partner, it's do we trust our friend with our partner. Like if I'm in an emergency and he's got to go grab you to help with the emergency, am I safe still? And sometimes I think those are the questions that women are scared to ask themselves, because then that puts the blame partially on you if he does cheat, because you didn't cut that off earlier. Not to say he's not wrong for cheating, because there's never an excuse, but at the same time, you didn't cut it off when it needed to be. You gave him an easier opportunity. So you have to check yourself and your friends as well. Some of my best friends in the world, I know they're good in their relationship. We do not talk about their relationship every day. One of my best friends got married. Yay! I was at the wedding. Yay! She has a kid now, everything. Yay! I couldn't tell you nothing about their relationship. And that's not to say she doesn't trust me. I've known her for over a decade. But I don't need to know everything. As long as I ask you, are you good? We still happy? And you move on, we're good. You need to vent to me about something? We good. You need to tell me a funny story? We good. But I don't have to know everything every day. So that's that. And I think when it comes to cheating, social media ruined it. Because now cheating has turned into likes. Cheating has turned into, some people in the audience might be too young for this, but you used to be able to poke people on Facebook. And then pokes used to get a lot of people in trouble. And Darion's laughing so hard because he knows I'm telling the truth. Ubu and Skype used to get people in trouble. MySpace DMs, if you weren't in somebody's top 10 on their MySpace page, that used to get you in trouble. So social media and how that instant gratification of having attention started to cause problems in what's considered cheating. I know all women may not agree with me, but for me, cheating is you're actively engaging in trying to go the extra mile physically with somebody. You can have a friendly conversation with a female and it's never going anywhere. But if you're having a conversation that's encouraging, meaning, like Jeff said earlier, you don't say no. And that's where a lot of guys mess up. They'll just let a woman talk to them and not check them. And I get it, that happens in grocery stores and everywhere, but like, don't just let the woman talk and then be like, but I ain't saying nothing back. Yeah, but you ain't telling her back off or like, this is my wife or this is my girlfriend either. Introductions have become a big thing of cheating. Because if you're around another female talking and I'm in your presence and you don't introduce me, or you introduce me as, oh, this is Taylor, but you don't say, oh, this is my partner, this is my girlfriend, I'm gonna have a problem. Because you're not reinforcing my status to somebody that's clearly stepping too close.
I think my biggest and only discrepancy when it comes to a lot of women is, and it's gonna sum up this whole entire episode.
Oh.
Y'all accuse men of being stupid, but then y'all want them to be smart. I'm keeping the silence in the recording too, just so y'all know. Like, that's it. That's all I can say.
A lot of times, and you're not wrong. You are not wrong. You are absolutely right. But a lot of times, and this
I don't
is
even want
not
to ask my question no more.
But and this is not an excuse because you are right. A lot of times, men don't reinforce that. Oh, this is that such and such. This is them. Because a lot of times, that female that's in our face, we do not care.
It's just in passing. It's just in, for example, Darion, real quick. I did the nod to Darion. He did the nod back, and he didn't divulge that information because I don't know if she's gonna stick around. And if the girl was gonna stick around with Darion, she'd be like, "Hey, bro, Jeff, stop real quick. Let me introduce her." But because he didn't do that, I know it's a passing, so I don't care. I just nod back.
And you're not wrong, Taylor. You aren't. Your perspective, you are not wrong. I get what you're saying. You are absolutely right. But men, we do not care. A female that's in our face. So that's why we don't be like, oh, yeah, by the way, this is my girl. This is my woman. Yeah, we can use a little bit of a deft touch with that. We can use some improvement on that as men, as a community of men. We can use some improvement on that, seeing it from the perspective of a female. But for y'all, we need all of you women out there in the world to understand that when a woman is in our face and you're with us, we do not care about that other woman. You're here with us. That's all that matters. So
it's more than that, Darion, too.
If it's wrong that we didn't introduce you as our woman, we apologize. But we guarantee you that woman that is in our face while you're with us, we do not care. We do not give not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for 10 rats behinds about it.
Yeah, but the first thought, and tell me I'm wrong, fellas, the first thought when a woman is walking towards us, we're not paying no attention.
No.
And then she lock eyes with us, and we beeline, and we realize she walking towards us, and you got your woman next to you, the first thing we thinking is, oh my God.
Right.
What?
No, for real.
So we're
Like,
not
we
introducing
don't know.
you. We trying to
We
get
don't
them
know.
away from us.
Right. We don't even want that woman to approach us. Like that's just what it is. Like that's matter of fact, I guess instead of me saying the question, I'll phrase it. Like pet names cause a lot of problems in society. I ain't gonna say relationships, but when it comes to partnerships, let a woman, waitress or server or bartender, call another woman's man, "Ooh, sweetheart, honey," in front of her.
A lot of people realize that's just customer service. Like it's not. It's just, especially if you go to like an old timey restaurant, you're gonna hear honey a lot.
Yeah.
That depends on where you are.
Correct.
So if
Yeah,
you're
that
in
is true.
Maryland that we talked about, most people ain't calling you honey the first time they meet you.
Hold on.
Now, if you're down south,
Correct.
that's part of the culture. That is a normal thing that people get called man or
100%.
woman.
Yeah.
So there's a difference there because sometimes but again, I'm gonna say this on women because you have to understand this. Some women just want to be messy. I know, I just hurt half the community. Some women just want to be messy.
Mm-hmm.
So I get what the fellas are saying in terms of it's still about your partner and knowing things.
But
Because
also,
some people are just out here to create mess and see if they can ruin stuff. That's not to say that men are perfect.
No.
We just admitted how stupid they are.
Yeah. I was say because on the equal note, men want to be stupid. Men are okay with that.
Wake up.
Men are okay.
Wake up. I didn't trip down the stairs. I didn't down some spit while I was sleeping. I bet. They started. Go to work. Don't die on the way to work. Don't die at work. I don't die on the way home. We home. Now I'm hungry because all I thought about today is not dying. Like that's I swear every time I live. I promise you, I'm not trying to sound like we're putting the blame on y'all, but a lot of okay, real quick, be quiet, everybody. Women, y'all be so worried about not having rules to be set in the house. Like, oh, I can't do this. I can't do that in my household. If I gotta confide to a man, y'all don't realize that if you shut up, you have way more control in the house than a man does. The only control a man has in the house is as long as these lights stay on and you're not freezing your butt off and you're not too hot and it's supposed to be cold. You have when the food gonna be cooked, the food being ordered, what we gonna eat, the diet, our exercise schedule, what we watching tonight, what we doing, when we going out with our friends. You have all the control. But because y'all don't have the control that y'all want, y'all think y'all don't have no control. That's not true.
That was more of a sports analogy.
This is all about you. This is still women's history. We're just trying to make.
No, as a man, I'm trying to get y'all to understand your relationships better. If you just be quiet right now, matter of fact, go ask your man right now. Hey, what do you do in the house? Oh, pay the bill. Make sure we got food on the table. Would you please be kind and let me know what I do? Oh, we'll be going out with Cheryl next week, right? Are we? Oh, okay. And you sit in the house like this 2 minutes later. Hey, don't forget you got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. Oh, you know it's your cousin's birthday next week? Oh. The whole time we still sitting there. Because we don't have any control of what happens in the house. If it wasn't for y'all, we would be dumb daily. Who said it though? What comedian said it? If a man could sleep with a woman living in a cardboard box, they would live in a cardboard box.
I don't know what comedian said, but I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like we don't blow up because we want to.
I know what you're talking about.
If I could live in this one room, I could touch this wall from where I'm sitting at. If I could live in this room and pay like $8 a month for rent or a mortgage, oh, believe me, I would live in this room. Like I'm okay with that. But because if a woman come to my house, my wife, my kids, my family, my husband, if they don't like this environment, I'm going to try to improve it. But if it wasn't for them, if humans didn't have the need to reproduce, the need for pleasure, the need for this, I promise you, I get my sun right here. Like I'm good. Like the sunlight is right here. I don't need to go outside. But because we do things that impress y'all, that's why we glow up. So believe it or not, y'all have a lot more impact. It's what y'all do with it that makes it so dangerous. Stop worrying about the power that you don't have, and please take full advantage of the power that you do have.
I'm gonna say this again, women. They're not coming at you. I know it sounds like an attack episode.
It's not an attack.
I think some of these things aren't said directly to women because we're sometimes too scared to start the conversation. So this is a way to hear these type of answers without feeling like you're in danger of losing somebody by asking the question, which I do think some women feel like in terms of that sometimes. Another thing I'm gonna say is that I can't remember what show I was watching, but somebody said that women need to decrease the amount of words they say and men need to increase the amount of words they're willing to listen to. Because women, we like to talk. We like to tell you the whole story, the details. Like if I tell you right now, oh, okay, my dog is in a blue vest, he's standing at this point and blah, blah, and all you care about is whether or not the dog went to go pee. But I'm telling you the whole detail of what happened beforehand.
Exactly.
And that is
because I was just thinking, is the dog taking a shit? Like, I don't.
You get what I'm saying? But that is because
it
kind of goes back to Jeff's point of women are organizers in a certain sense. Like we pay attention to those details. So to us, those details are necessary to share to get somebody to understand our story or our point. But for men, they just want to know that the beginning and the end.
Correct.
So it is a thing of making sure that men are willing to increase the amount of words they're willing to listen to. But I'm going to say this on behalf of women. Men, sometimes we just want you to listen. And because you guys are fixers, you can't handle it sometimes.
I understand. I understand. It's more to that. And I'll let y'all get you finished though.
But sometimes women just want to feel heard. But because men are fixers, you hear a problem and you want to fix the problem.
Can I say something?
When a woman just wants to feel heard on the problem.
I was only going to say about the listening thing. It's not that we don't want to listen. It's y'all have full awareness of what goes on around y'all. Y'all just choose to ignore it. For example, literally once I get off of this, I already ate, already showered. I ain't got to do nothing else for the day. I'm throwing these bad boys on and I'm playing my game, right? I can't hear nothing when I got these headphones on. You know I got the headphones. I'm talking to my homies that live probably halfway across the world. They probably live in New Zealand somewhere, right? Why do you need my full attention to speak about something that you know I don't care about? Is it not enough that I'm just here, you coming around, hey, blah, 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 something happened at work, blah, 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 blah. Because I can't pause my game. It's online. I can't hinder my friends that live halfway across the world because I'm online.
We'll put this back in the fridge.
I'm stopping what I'm doing enough to be like, all right, I'm listening. I hear you. Then you, those women are good. Those women that understand that can come in the room and talk to the back of your head, those are good. The women that I don't like are the ones that, can you repeat what I said? No. No. I didn't hear nothing you said. I heard nothing you said.
I will say this, women, if you're going to ask, can you repeat what I said? Do it on the important part, or at least be like, yo, this part I need you to really pay attention to.
But also with Taylor saying when men are fixers, if we don't hear a problem, we're going to look at you and tell you, give us something to fix.
That's what I'm saying.
And we can't fix insecurities or emotions. We can only explain our perspective of what we believe or think.
The best way to get women to understand, Darren, I'm gonna let you get your point real quick. The best way to get men to listen to what you guys say, and this is coming from a man that is what I preach what I'm telling you about. Give that man something to do while you're trying to explain to him something. Because if a man sitting in the room like this, his brain is somewhere. It's probably, if you go to your man right now, that's why men got a lot of hair. Go to a man right now and shave the back of the head. It's a hinge back there. It's a hinge in the lock. Because if you open that, it's nothing in there. It's nothing. Once they come home, it's nothing in there. Like at all. So if you want your man to really pay attention to you, go tell him, hey babe, the kitchen sink broken. So why they in the kitchen fixing the sink, and now you talking to him because now he's paying attention because his mind is occupied. Don't ever run into a man that's sitting still, not doing anything, and expect him to be listening. He's not listening to himself. It ain't nothing going on. Am I wrong? It ain't nothing up here. I didn't
Right.
die going to work. I didn't die coming home. I'm good. I made it through the day. Like, I'm okay.
So y'all pretty much summed up what I was getting ready to say, but I'm still gonna say it. Men are problem solvers. So because of that, a lot of you women will say, "Oh, well, you're not really listening to me. You don't care." Yes and no. I don't care about what you're telling me. I care about what's wrong. I want to solve the problem so that how you're feeling right now, you don't have to feel later. Because if you feel it later, not only are you going to have a problem with how you feel, I'm going to have to deal with it. It's not that I don't care. I care enough for it not to be a problem later on. So, yes, I'm listening, but I want to fix this now so it doesn't need to be fixed again. And a lot of times, and I have said this not just with women, but with men too, as far as telling me something. If you're going to tell me a problem or a story, get to the point first. If I need the explanation, I'll ask for it. But if you're going to give me the explanation, at least tell me what the problem is first. Don't explain the problem, tell me how the problem happened, and then tell me what the problem is. Tell me first. I guarantee you, if you get straight to the point and tell me the problem first and explain it, even though most situations, me personally, I don't give a crap about you explaining the problem to me. I don't care. Darion Nimmons does not care about the explanation, about the why, the when, or the who. I just care about the what, so I can be done with it and take care of it. But if you're going to give me the rest of that, give me the what first, so I actually know what I'm paying attention to. But if you're going to tell me all the details about the problem before telling me the problem, my mind is going to automatically check out without my permission, without my say so. I am going to mentally check out because you still haven't told me what's wrong. You explained to me what's wrong. You gave me every little detail, but I still don't know what's wrong. I don't want the explanation. I'm going to get upset with you if you give me the explanation. But at the very least, if you're going to give it to me, tell me the problem first. Get straight to the point first, then do all these twists and turns. I'm
But
more willing to pay attention.
I think on that, Darion, is part of the thing of making sure men and women have some sort of understanding, because sometimes there isn't a problem. We just want to feel heard by somebody. And you couldn't find it out there in the world. So you're coming home to at least get it off your chest. Now, it could be that sometimes women, we should say, like, hey, there's no problem that you can fix, but I got to share this.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, but if I say that phrase and tell you the whole story, but you're saying you're mad for hearing a story that doesn't have a problem you can fix, that's not fair either, because
Yeah,
now
you
I
get a bad
can't
person.
talk to you,
But
and now
also,
you're pushing me to whoever I can talk to.
Correct.
but with that being said, Taylor, some women also get upset if a man doesn't have a response to when they vented about coming home from the world.
But that's what I agree
Same
with
as
what
with
she's saying.
men. Same as
I
with
agree, I
men.
agree with what she's saying, because she's saying
Yeah,
if at
100%
least
I
from
agree
the
with
jump, we let y'all know from the jump that, hey,
Right.
we have an unsolvable problem. We just want to be heard. Oh, by all means,
Right.
continue.
Yeah. But
Continue.
if you
But
just
I
come
I
in
get
with
it. I
your,
get it.
if you come in with it and we go, what you want me to do? Like now that we ask a question because we hear that we don't know if it's a problem. It's either we're going to question the existence, or we just going to look at you and expect for you to continue on.
And here's the thing, though, there's actually nothing wrong with that question, as long as the response is, I know there's nothing you can do, I just needed to share.
Right. Because at that
Right.
point, instead of me sitting in the room, you
But if
trying to
I
get my
can't get
full
past you
undivided
saying
attention.
what is
Now,
wrong
when I
with
walk
you,
downstairs, you can follow me downstairs and we can talk. And it
Right.
won't. Now you're not annoying me because I at least, well, first of all, you shouldn't annoy me in the first place. But you know what I mean? Like now I'm walking downstairs to the kitchen, about to get a bottle out the fridge. You can follow me and keep talking versus you knowing that there's no solution. You knowing I want to problem solve. Don't expect me to sit down in a room. Like I said, I got my game in my hand. I'm actually enjoying myself. And you expect me to drop everything I'm doing to hear a problem with no solution. So that point we can do it like a 50-50 where it's like, all right, cool, talk. Enjoy yourself. Talk. If you want me to really pay attention with you, just let me know. Like not saying that I won't, because you're my woman, I'm gonna pay attention to you. But it's certain, like if it's Friday and Monday through Thursday, you was complaining about the same thing at work. Don't expect Friday me to listen to you as attentively as I was listening to you Monday and Tuesday. I'm still listening to you, but now Monday I give you my undivided attention. Tuesday, I'm still listening, but my brain's somewhere else. By Wednesday, I'm like this. By Thursday, I'm like this. By Friday, my door closed. So it's like different things happen as we go through. So just as long as you let me know from the jump, hey, look, I just want to talk. Stop. Don't say nothing. Just sit down on the bed. Shut up. Let me get this out. And I'm like, all right, bet. You got it. You win. Can I watch TV? No. Okay. Like this, it's like that's where. First of all, I'm glad I made that joke too. Have humor in your relationship. Good goodness, like that's your partner. Like laugh, joke, like everything ain't gotta be so serious. Everything ain't gotta be numbers. Because once again, it comes down to the whole being spontaneous and being flirty and being this so-called Superman. It's like it's hard because as a man, our brain is so one track, especially, and I'm not talking about all men, because you got some men that just sit in the house and do nothing, couch potatoes. You got some men that are hybrids. They work less than they at home, but they still work. But it's like we're talking about the people that provide. When we provide, things aren't as simple that y'all think they are. Like, you know how hard it is for a guy to hear. I'm talking about a real guy. I'm not talking about a guy that came from money. I'm talking about a guy that made it from nothing to something. Like, I feel like every relationship should be 50-50, right? But what I mean by that is, yeah, you may not have to pay anything, but if I'm ever coming up short on something, you got my back. Or you invite me out, I got the snacks, you got the tickets. Or we go here. You just got it this week. This week we going out on a date. We going to whatever. We going to Cheesecake Factory. I'm paying for every single date we go out. You got it. Because what you don't understand is you're making a mistake, and that's scary. That's I want y'all women to really understand this. That's scary because if I work every single day and I'm providing every single bill in the house, I'm spending my money, right? Yeah, I agree, right? Mm-hmm. If I'm spending all of my money on all the main bills in the house, and you're working but you're not spending any money. You're saving money and I'm not, right? That creates another insecurity because your partner's thinking, why are you saving all your money up? You gonna leave me or something? That's what it's like. It's more, it's always deeper. And we let society dictate how we think. So we end up ruining our own lives when the people that made the magazine don't even know you exist. Y'all out here Beyonce worshiping. Y'all tripped down the stairs in front of Beyonce. She could be like, ew, peasant, don't touch me. Think she gonna help you up? No, but y'all be so I be idolizing these people. Like, stop worrying about what they doing. Who in front of you? That's who you focus on.
And when it comes to the whole problem, and as men, yeah, we can afford to ask a little bit more often. As men, we can. But when y'all just trying to talk to us, let us know, like, hey, I want this problem solved, or I just want to be heard.
Let us know if it's important or not. Just let us know if it's important.
That
like,
way,
if it's important,
that's not exactly a fair question either.
I was not done. Y'all not going to interrupt.
No, let
as long as
them
it's
down,
important.
slide. Let them work. Go ahead, Mike. You next. Let them work.
I ain't got nothing.
Depending on what you tell me, whether or not you tell me you want the problem solved or you want to be heard, that automatically gives me the opportunity to adjust my mind how I'm going to respond and interact with you. If you tell me, okay, you need a problem solved, I'm already in thinking mode. I'm already okay, what can we do? How can we do it? If we can't, how can I bring about the situation to where it can be done? If you just want me to listen, all right, cool. Is this something I can listen to while doing what I want to do? No? All right, cool. You have my complete undivided attention. Oh, it's something that's not so important to where I can still play the game or watch some sports or do whatever craft I was doing while listening to you. All right, cool. I'm gonna keep doing it while I'm listening to you. Like Jeff said, but you letting us know beforehand dictates how we're going to respond to it. And yes, as men, we can ask, hey, do you want your problem solved or you just want to be heard? We can afford to ask that more often. I admit, as men, we don't ask it often enough, so we can. We should. But as women, if you're just coming right out the gate trying to talk to us, let us know. Let a brother know.
I agree with that.
It causes less conflict and less confusion.
But also, as men, we should acknowledge that the fact that even if we know that we are fixing and solving problems, we also have to acknowledge that are these fixings also causing problems as a result to why sometimes women want to be heard or want men to solve these problems.
But and that's what I'm saying. It's like, but that's like I feel like once again, I hate the fact that I got to keep doing this every single time because it kind of like creates the rest of the arguments just be like for the
That
sense
was
of
more of a
nuance.
question. My bad. That was more of a question than a
What was the exact
statement.
question? Then I can answer it, or if
So
you want anybody else to answer it.
no, I just I'm gonna try to ask Darion because it was mainly from his words. Like, is the problem bringing up the problem, or is the problem when the woman acknowledges that she wasn't heard?
All right. I guess because I was talking, I'll say this real quick. Remember that, Darion, because it was literally a 2-second thing I'm about to say. Everything is communication. How is it hard to come in the house and be like, all right, babe, do you mind me just talking to you? It's not even do you mind? You're mine. I'm talking to you today. I don't have, and then your partner responds back by saying, is there something for me to do in this conversation? And then you can respond back instead of getting mad because your partner's asking you questions about you releasing your attention. You can act back. No, I just want you to hear me. Now your partner has the designs, the authority to be like, yay, I'll listen to you, or nay, I'm not giving you my full attention, but I'll still listen to you. Everything is a question in every single thing we talk about with it. That's why I said when it came to this particular platform, my bad, it ended up going longer than I thought. When it comes down to this particular platform, the reason why I try to avoid relationship questions, but this is probably the last time I'm really gonna see these, maybe down the line, is because everything is just designed around communication. If you don't communicate with your partner, nothing we say is gonna ever make sense. Because if we tell y'all something and you do agree with it, don't just go tomorrow and try to implement it in your relationship. You built that relationship off of whatever standard you already had. Now, if you do it, it still takes communication because now you're going to say, I heard something from some guys, so I understand you, babe, a little bit better. So do you mind if I try to do what they said? Oh, we heard the ladies. So do you mind, babe, if I try to explain to you what your female friend is trying to tell me? It's like, it's still going to take communication. Nothing ever is going to happen without y'all communicating. And stop communicating with people that's not in your house. And that don't mean your physical four walls. Like your house is where you are. Like your partner is your home. So wherever y'all, if y'all out in the middle of the desert, that's your home because you two are together. Nothing leaves that foundation of y'all two. Everything takes communication.
And to answer your question, Mike, let me repeat it so I can make sure I heard it right. You asked me, is the problem that the problem is being brought up, or is the problem not being heard? Right?
Yeah, that was the question.
Honestly, neither one of those is the problem. The problem is, what are your intentions and expectations for me when you tell me what this information? Do you want it solved? Do you want to be heard? That's all I want to know. It don't matter. It doesn't really matter. I mean, it does, but it doesn't. It should never be a problem to bring up a problem because then that just brings up deeper issues that has nothing to do with the problem. But if the problem is just being heard, then that means either that person hasn't been heard enough, or maybe you're just being a d-bag about it. But it's more so to say, I just want to know what your intentions and expectations are of me when you give me this information. Do you want me to hear you, or do you want me to solve the problem? So I'm asking now so I know how to respond. And that's my answer to your question.
That's a solid answer. No, you're all right. That's good. I'll take that.
So to kind of sum up this episode, we kind of went on a couple of different things from male and women friendships to how that ties into your relationship to just communication in general between men and women so there could be more understanding. What we've tried to do in these last 2 episodes for Women's History Month is kind of, I know sometimes women, it may sound like they're attacking. So don't react just in like, oh, they're attacking women and saying we do everything wrong. But they're passionate about trying to get you to understand their perspective so that they can be better with you going forward. And sometimes women, we have to understand that men have that perspective as well. So part of being a woman is also accepting people for who they are. And part of this channel is about accepting people for who they are. So while it may feel like sometimes like, oh, the guys were ganging up on her. Nah, they just got a little passionate, which is not a problem because half the time women were screaming for men to talk. So if we're screaming for them to talk, when they actually do, you can't be mad with the message. So we hope you've enjoyed these last 2 episodes for Women's History Month, kind of letting me fully, like not fully, but take over and make Jeff shut up for a little bit. But, I hope y'all have had a good time and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Thanks for watching Normalize You. And don't forget to catch me every other Friday with your question of the week. And you can send in questions as well. Please reach out on our social media or our email and send us your questions, your topics, your responses. We actually do read them. Hope to see you there.
Normalizing doing things out of generosity.
Basically, it's like you doing things not for the sake of doing it, but for the sake of somebody else, basically. Instead of trying to find out what benefit you get from it, you're doing it for the need or desire of somebody else.
That's not generous.